There is a wisdom in silence that many people overlook, yet it holds the power to protect what is precious in your life. Not everything you receive is meant to be spoken about openly, and not every blessing is meant to be shared before it is fully secured. Silence becomes a form of protection, a quiet shield that guards your growth, your progress, and the things that are still taking shape in your life. In a world where people are quick to speak, quick to share, and quick to reveal their plans, the ability to stay quiet is a strength, because every word you speak has the power to either protect your blessings or expose them to unnecessary attention, doubt, or interference. Silence allows your journey to unfold without outside pressure, without distractions, and without the weight of opinions that are not meant for you. When you choose silence, you are not hiding, you are protecting. You are giving your blessings the space they need to grow in peace. You are trusting the process without needing validation from others. And in that quiet space, something powerful happens. Your path becomes clearer, your focus becomes stronger, and your blessings become more secure. Silence is not empty, it is intentional. And when used wisely, it becomes one of the strongest ways to protect everything that is meant for you. Protect your blessings by speaking less and observing more. There is a quiet discipline that separates those who protect what they have from those who lose it without realizing it. And that discipline is knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Life is not just about what you say, it is about what you choose not to say. Every word carries weight, every statement carries consequences. And when you understand that, you begin to move with intention, not impulse. Speaking less does not mean you have nothing to say. It means you understand the value of your words. It means you are not careless with what you reveal. Because not everyone who hears you is for you, and not everyone who listens to you is rooting for your growth. Some people are watching to understand you, and some are watching to study you. And the more you speak without awareness, the more you expose the very things that are meant to be protected. Your blessings are fragile in the early stages. They are forming, developing, growing quietly in ways that the outside world cannot fully see. And in that process, silence becomes protection. When you speak too soon, you invite unnecessary attention. When you reveal too much, you open doors to opinions that can distort your vision, challenge your confidence, or plant doubt in places that were once clear. But when you choose to speak less, you give your blessings room to grow without interference. Observation is the other side of this discipline. While others are busy talking, you are learning. While others are explaining themselves, you are studying the environment. You are paying attention to patterns, to behavior, to the subtle details that most people miss. And that awareness gives you an advantage. It allows you to move with wisdom instead of reacting blindly. Observation sharpens your judgment. It teaches you when to act and when to wait. It helps you understand people, not just by what they say, but by what they do. And when you combine that awareness with silence, you become someone who cannot be easily manipulated, easily distracted, or easily misled. Because when you observe more, you see more. And when you see more, you understand more. And when you understand more, you protect more. There is power in not reacting to everything you hear. There is strength in not responding to every opinion that comes your way. When you learn to stay silent in situations that do not require your voice, you preserve your energy. You protect your focus. You guard your direction. And that allows you to stay aligned with what truly matters. Too many people lose their blessings because they talk too much about their plans before they are ready. They share their progress too early. They expose their ideas before they are fully developed. And as a result, they open themselves up to doubt, criticism, and unnecessary resistance. But when you speak less, you give your blessings a chance to mature in private. You allow your growth to happen without interruption. And when the time is right, your results will speak louder than anything you could have said beforehand. Let your actions do the talking. There is something powerful about being the kind of person who moves quietly, who works in silence, who builds without needing to announce every step. That kind of discipline builds character. It builds focus. It builds resilience. And most importantly, it protects what is yours. Observation also teaches patience. When you are not constantly talking, you begin to listen more. You begin to understand timing. You begin to recognize that not every opportunity needs to be rushed into, and not every moment requires immediate action. Some things require waiting. Some things require watching. Some things require trusting the process without forcing the outcome. And in that patience, your strength grows. Because patience allows your blessings to develop fully. It prevents you from rushing into decisions that could compromise your future. It keeps you grounded in the present while preparing you for what is ahead. You have to understand that not everything needs to be shared to be real. Not everything needs to be announced to be powerful. Some of the most important things in your life will happen quietly, and those quiet moments often carry the most weight. So protect your journey by being selective with your words. Protect your future by being intentional with your speech. Protect your blessings by speaking less and observing more. When you do that, something changes within you. You become more aware, more disciplined, more focused. You begin to move with purpose instead of impulse, and that purpose becomes the foundation of everything you build. You stop seeking validation through words and start proving yourself through actions. You stop explaining your vision to everyone and start executing it with precision. And as you grow in silence, your results begin to speak for you in ways that words never could, because the truth is, the right people will recognize your growth without you having to explain it. The right opportunities will find you without you having to announce them. And the right blessings will manifest when you create the space for them to grow without interference. So keep your focus, guard your words, watch more than you speak, and trust that what is meant for you will not be lost when you choose silence. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is not to speak, but to observe, to learn, and to protect everything that is still becoming in your life. Silence as a shield for what God is preparing for you. There are seasons in life where the most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet and trust the process unfolding in front of you. Not every blessing is ready for public eyes. Not every plan is meant to be spoken out loud. Some things are still forming, still growing, still being shaped by a force greater than you can see. And in those moments, silence becomes your protection. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength under control. It is discipline. It is wisdom. It is understanding that what is not yet complete must be guarded with care. Because the moment you speak too soon, you open the door to unnecessary pressure, doubt, and outside influence. And what God is preparing for you requires peace, not noise, focus, not distraction. When you stay silent, you allow things to develop in their natural time. You stop forcing what is not ready. You stop rushing what needs to grow, and you begin to trust that the same force that placed the vision in your heart is also responsible for bringing it into reality. There is power in hidden preparation. Every great outcome begins in a place where no one is watching. Every strong foundation is built in quiet. Every meaningful breakthrough is formed in moments of silence, when no applause is heard and no opinions are shaping the process. That is where character is built. That is where discipline is strengthened. That is where purpose is refined. When you keep your journey silent, you protect it from interference. Not everyone understands what you are building. Not everyone will support it. Some will question it. Some will doubt it. And some will try to discourage it. But when you keep your plans protected, you give yourself the space to grow without being pulled in different directions. Silence allows clarity to grow. When you are constantly talking, explaining, and sharing, your focus becomes divided. You begin to think about how others will respond instead of how you should move forward. But when you choose silence, you clear that noise. You remove outside opinions, and you begin to hear your own direction more clearly. That clarity is essential because what God is preparing for you is not ordinary. It requires your full attention. It requires your commitment, and it requires you to trust the process even when you do not fully understand it. Silence keeps you aligned with that process. It keeps your mind steady and your spirit focused. There will always be moments when you feel the urge to speak, to explain, to reveal what is happening in your life. But wisdom teaches you restraint. It teaches you that not everything needs to be shared to be valid. Not everything needs to be explained to be real. Some blessings are protected by silence. When you move quietly, you reduce unnecessary interference. You avoid the noise that comes with early exposure. You allow things to grow without being prematurely judged or disrupted. And that protection creates a safe space for what God is preparing to come into full form. Silence also builds strength within you, because when you are not constantly seeking validation from others, you begin to rely more on your inner strength. You begin to trust your decisions. You begin to stand firm in your path without needing approval. And that kind of strength cannot be easily shaken. You learn to move with confidence even when no one is watching. You learn to stay committed even when there is no recognition. You learn to trust that what is hidden today will be revealed at the right time. That is faith in action. Silence is not about hiding your life. It is about protecting your process. It is about respecting the timing of what is being built within you. It is about understanding that some things grow better in private before they are ready for the public. And when you respect that process, something powerful happens. Your growth becomes solid. Your foundation becomes unshakable. Your results become undeniable because you did not rush. You did not expose it too soon. You allowed it to develop fully before bringing it into the light. That is the kind of strength that lasts. That is the kind of preparation that produces real results. So when life tries to pull you into noise, when people try to get you to speak too soon, when pressure tries to push you into revealing more than you should, remember this truth, Silan. E is your shield. It protects what is not ready. It guards what is still forming. It preserves what is meant for you. And as you continue to walk in that discipline, you will begin to see that the very things you protected in silence will one day become the very things that speak loudly for you. So stay focused, stay patient, stay silent when necessary. Because what God is preparing for you is worth protecting until the moment it is ready to be revealed. Why not everyone needs to know your next move? There is a certain power that comes when you understand this simple truth. Not everyone deserves access to your next move. Not everyone needs to know where you are going, how you are planning, or what you are building. Some people are present in your life, but they are not meant to be part of your process. And if you give everyone access to your direction, you give away control over your own path. Life is not about being seen at every step. It is about becoming something that speaks for itself when the time is right. When you talk too much about your plans, you invite opinions, doubt, and sometimes even resistance from people who do not understand your vision. Not because they are bad, but because they are not aligned with where you are going. You have to understand, every time you share too much, you expose something that is still growing. And anything that is still growing is vulnerable. It can be influenced, it can be judged, and sometimes it can even be discouraged before it has a chance to fully develop. That is why silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. There is strength in moving quietly. There is power in working without announcing every step. When you operate in silence, you are free. Free from judgment. Free from unnecessary pressure. Free from the voices that try to shape your journey based on their limitations. Not your potential, because not everyone sees what you see. Not everyone believes what you believe. Not everyone is invested in your success the way you are. And that is okay. But it also means you must protect your direction. Your next move is not for everyone to know. It is for you to understand, for you to execute, and for you to refine along the way. When the time is right, your results will reveal what you have been building. And those results will speak louder than any explanation you could give. Think about it. The most powerful transformations in life often happen in silence. The growth that changes everything is usually the growth that no one sees. Because in those moments, you are not performing for others, you are building for yourself. And when you build in silence, you build with focus. When you build with focus, you build with precision. And when you build with precision, you build something that lasts. There is also a level of discipline that comes with keeping your next move private. It forces you to stay committed without external validation. It pushes you to rely on your own belief instead of the approval of others. And that is where true strength is formed. Because if your success depends on who knows about it, then your foundation is weak. But if your success is built quietly, step by step, without needing attention, then it becomes unshakable. You do not need to announce your progress to prove that you are progressing. You do not need to explain your vision to prove that you have won. You do not need to share every detail to prove that you are moving forward. Let your work do the situation. Talking let your consistency build your reputation. Let your results reveal your journey. Because the truth is, when you stop telling everyone what you are doing, you start protecting what you are building. You create space for growth without interference. You allow your ideas to develop fully before they are exposed to the world. And in that space, something powerful begins to take shape. Clarity, focus, strength. There will always be people who question your silence. They will wonder what you are doing, why you are quiet, and what you are planning. But you cannot allow curiosity from others to disrupt your concentration. You cannot let outside voices pull you away from your path. Your journey is not a public announcement, it is a personal mission. And not everyone is meant to be part of it. So move with intention, think before you speak, and guard your direction, like it matters, because it does. Every move you make is building towards something greater, and the less you expose too early, the more control you maintain over how it unfolds. That control allows you to move without pressure, without interference, and without unnecessary noise. And when you finally arrive at your destination, people will see the result, not the process. They will see the outcome, not the struggle. They will see the success, not the silence that built it. And in that moment, everything you protected, everything you built quietly, everything you kept to yourself will begin to make sense. Because real power is not in telling everyone what you are doing. Real power is in becoming something undeniable. So keep your focus, guard your direction. And remember that not everyone needs to know your next move. Because your results will speak for you when the time is right. Hidden growth happens in quiet, not in noise. There is a truth about growth that many people overlook. And it is this: real growth does not announce itself. It does not come with noise. It does not demand attention, and it does not seek validation. Real growth happens in the quiet moments, in the unseen hours, in the spaces where no one is watching. That is where strength is built. That is where character is formed. That is where transformation troll. Why begins when you look at the people who have achieved something meaningful, something lasting, something that stands the test of time. You will notice something in common. Their journey was not loud. It was not rushed. It was not filled with constant announcements. It was built in silence, step by step, day by day, moment by moment. And that quiet discipline is what made their success real. Because noise is often a distraction. Noise pulls your attention in too many directions. It makes you focus on what others are doing, what others are saying, and how others are reacting. But growth requires focus. It requires clarity. It requires you to turn your attention inward and work on what needs to be improved without the pressure of outside voices. When you are constantly surrounded by noise, you lose touch with your own progress. You begin to measure yourself by external opinions instead of internal growth, and that is where people lose their way. But when you step into quiet, when you embrace stillness, you begin to see clearly. You begin to understand your path, and you begin to grow in ways that are steady and strong. Hidden growth is powerful because it is protected. When no one is watching, you are free to make mistakes, to learn, to adjust, and to improve without judgment. You are free to fail without embarrassment. You are free to rebuild without pressure. And that freedom allows you to grow at a deeper level. It allows you to develop strength that cannot be easily shaken. Because when growth is hidden, it is also safe from doubt, safe from criticism, safe from unnecessary influence. And in that safe space, something powerful happens. You begin to build yourself from the inside out. You begin to develop discipline that does not depend on recognition. You begin to strengthen habits that are not driven by approval. And you begin to create a foundation that is solid because it was built in silence. Noise can create the illusion of progress. People can talk, post, announce, and share everything they are doing, but that does not always mean they are growing. Noise can give the appearance of movement without real development. But hidden growth is different. It is not about appearance. It is about substance. It is about becoming better, even when no one notices. It is about improving your mindset, even when no one applauds. It is about developing your skills, even when no one is watching. That is where real strength lives. Because when you can grow without needing recognition, you become unstoppable. You are no longer dependent on external validation. You are driven by something deeper, something internal, something that keeps you moving even when the world is silent. And that kind of growth lasts. Hidden growth also teaches patience. In a world that moves fast, patience is rare. But growth takes time. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be forced. It has to be allowed to unfold naturally. And when you try to rush it, you weaken the process. But when you allow it to happen in its own time, you strengthen the outcome. Quiet gives you the space to be patient. It gives you the space to trust the process. It gives you the space to stay committed without distraction. And in that space, you begin to understand that everything meaningful in life takes time to develop. Strength does not happen overnight. Confidence does not happen instantly. Success is not built in a moment. It is built in the quiet, in the unseen, in the moments where you choose to keep going, even when no one is there to acknowledge your effort. And that is what separates those who give up from those who rise, because those who rise understand that hidden growth is not wasted time. It is necessary time. It is the time where everything is being shaped, refined, and prepare. D for what is ahead. So do not rush your growth. Do not measure your progress by noise. Do not compare your journey to those who are constantly in the spotlight. Instead, focus on what is happening within you. Focus on the discipline you are building. Focus on the habits you are strengthening. Focus on the mindset you are developing. Because that is where your real progress is happening. Hidden growth happens in quiet. Because that is where truth exists. There is no performance. There is no pressure. There is no need to impress. There is only you, your effort, and your commitment to becoming better. And when you embrace that, when you respect that process, when you stay consistent in the quiet, something powerful begins to happen. You begin to transform in ways that cannot be ignored. And when your growth finally becomes visible, it will not be because you rushed it into the light. It will be because you built it strong enough to stand on its own. That is the power of quiet growth. That is the strength of staying focused in silence. That is how real change is made. So keep working, keep building, keep growing, even when no one is watching. Because the quiet is where the foundation is laid. And what is built in quiet will always be strong enough to stand in the light, guarding your future by controlling your words. There is a level of discipline that separates those who drift through life from those who build something meaningful, and that discipline begins with one simple truth. Your words carry power. What you say today can shape your tomorrow in ways you may not fully understand right now. Every sentence, every opinion, every reaction you release into the world is either building your future or quietly damaging it. When you learn to control your words, you begin to take control of your direction. Because words are not just sounds. They are commitments. They are reflections of your thoughts, your mindset, and your awareness. And if your words are careless, your future becomes unstable. But if your words are intentional, your future becomes protected. Too many people speak without thinking. They react without awareness. They express everything they feel in the moment without considering the long-term impact. And in doing so, they expose parts of their life that should have been protected. They create opportunities for misunderstanding, for judgment, for interference. But when you choose restraint, when you choose to think before you speak, you create a shield around your future. Control is power. And controlling your words is one of the highest forms of self-control you can practice. Because when you speak less and with intention, you begin to move with clarity. You begin to understand that not every thought needs to be spoken, not every feeling needs to be expressed, and not every situation requires your immediate response. There is wisdom in waiting. There is strength in silence. And there is protection in choosing your words carefully. Your future is built in layers, and words have the power to either strengthen or weaken those layers. When you speak positively, when you speak with purpose, when you speak with awareness, you reinforce your direction. But when you speak impulsively, when you speak out of frustration, when you speak without thinking, you introduce instability into your path. That is why controlling your words is not just about communication, it is about protection. Protection of your reputation, protection of your opportunities, protection of your relationships, protection of the life you are building. Because once words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. They travel, they spread, they influence how others see you and how they respond to you. And sometimes, one careless statement can close doors that took years to open. But when you move with discipline, when you guard your tongue, when you choose silence over reaction, you begin to operate with wisdom, and wisdom is what builds a strong future. There is also power in observation. When you are not constantly speaking, you are listening, you are learning, you are understanding the environment around you, and that awareness gives you an advantage. It allows you to respond with clarity instead of reacting with emotion. People who control their words tend to control their outcomes because they are not easily swayed by impulse. They are not quick to engage in unnecessary arguments. They are not driven by the need to prove themselves at every moment. Instead, they focus on what truly matters, their growth, their direction, and their purpose. And in doing so, they protect their energy. They protect their focus. They protect their future. You have to understand that not every moment requires your voice. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet and let your actions speak for you. Because actions build credibility, but words can sometimes create confusion. When you speak less, you reduce the risk of misunderstanding. When you speak less, you maintain control over your narrative. When you speak less, you allow your results to define your story, and that is where true strength lies. Guarding your future by controlling your words also means understanding timing, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, knowing when to share and when to hold back, knowing when your voice adds value and when silence adds more. That level of awareness does not come overnight. It comes from discipline. It comes from experience. It comes from learning through moments where speaking too soon cost you something, and deciding that you will not repeat that mistake. Growth requires reflection, and reflection teaches you the value of restraint. Because every time you choose to control your words, you are making a decision that aligns with your future. You are choosing discipline over impulse. You are choosing wisdom over reaction, and you are choosing long-term success over short-term expression. That is how you build something lasting, not by saying everything you think, but by saying only what needs to be said. Your words should carry weight. They should be meaningful. They should be intentional. And they should reflect the direction you are going, not the emotions of the moment. Because your future is too important to be left in the hands of careless words. So guard it, protect it, and strengthen it by controlling what you say and how you say it. When you master your words, you master your presence. And when you master your presence, you begin to move through life with a level of confidence that cannot be easily shaken. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop speaking impulsively. You start speaking with purpose. And in that shift, everything changes, because now you are not just living life, you are directing it. And that direction is built on discipline, awareness, and the powerful decision to control your words and guard your future with intention. In the end, your words will always reflect the kind of life you are building. When you learn to speak with intention, you begin to protect not only your present, but also the future that is still unfolding. Every moment of restraint, every decision to pause before speaking is a step toward a stronger, more stable life. It is in those quiet moments that wisdom grows and your direction becomes clearer. You will not always feel like holding back, and you will not always find it easy to stay silent when emotions rise. But discipline is built in those moments. Strength is proven in those moments, and your future is shaped by how you respond in those moments. When you choose control over impulse, you are choosing growth over regret. Guarding your words means guarding your destiny. It means understanding that what you say today can either build doors for tomorrow or close them forever. So move with awareness, speak with purpose, and let your words reflect the strength, wisdom, and discipline you are committed to building. Because in the end, those who master their words are the ones who master their future. And that kind of control is what leads to a life of true power and lasting respect.